Well, hey, and welcome back to the Rose Rock YouTube channel. So before we jump in, it's been a little while since I posted a cover song tutorial, and that's because I've been very busy working on the first Rose Rock online course. So if you're unfamiliar, this YouTube channel is really just kind of scratching the surface of some cover songs. We talk a little bit about technique and theory with some of this stuff, but it doesn't dive super far in like a private lesson would. And we really wanted to close that gap between online learning at your own pace and private lessons. And so the online course platform, you've probably seen stuff like that before, seemed to be a good choice. So I'm really excited about it. The only course we have available right now is for very beginners. So if you are brand new to the guitar and you want to get started, this is a fantastic way to do it. So just go to roserockmusic.com, click on courses. The month of December, we're filming this right now, early December. For the rest of this month, the price is only $29. You get, it's like 13 or 14 lessons, takes you through how to read tabs, how to read chord charts, how to play your first few songs, a lot of the basics of musical counting, musical alphabet, the fretboard, all that kind of stuff, okay? Really cool. The first couple of video lessons are free. So you just got to put your email in, get a couple free lessons, and then the whole course is only $29. So highly recommend it. And guess what? It's me teaching, so should be all right. Okay, so today we are going to talk about "Take It Easy" by the Eagles. Okay, this is a phenomenal song. I love the Eagles, one of the best bands of all time. And this is one of my favorite songs to get people started with strumming. Okay, and there's a few reasons why. We're going to dive a little bit into it later. So before I get going here, we're gonna not focus too much on how to play the song from start to finish. I'm gonna do my typical run through of, here's how to play the intro, here's how to play the verse, and here are a couple ways to tighten up the sound and get it to sound a little more natural and get you playing along to the recording. But as far as specific, here's the order of the chords, here, you should be able to hear that. So yeah, I'm gonna give you the tools to be able to do that, okay? So we try to keep this short and sweet, so let's dive in. The intro, we have 3 chords. We have a G, we have a C add 9, and we have a D sus 4. That's short for D suspended 4. So this couldn't be any easier. This is a big reason why I recommend this for beginner to intermediate guitar players just getting started with strumming. So this G chord, you learned that, I'm sure. You're very familiar with that one. The C add 9, probably familiar, maybe not. It's just, keep that G formation, drop the second and first fingers down 1 string, boom, C add 9 chord. And then we are gonna keep the 3rd and 4th fingers down on that 3rd fret and just add that first finger to the 2nd fret G string. That is a D suspended 4, okay? So the intro is gonna sound like this. Okay, so pretty cool, right? We have 2 measures of G, 1 measure of C add 9, 1 measure of D sus 4, and that 4 measure pattern gets repeated 2 times. 8 measures total. So the chords are not hard. The chords are very simple. What can throw people, if you're intermediate level and you've been playing for a while, this song is probably really easy. You've probably already learned it. But if you're at the kind of beginner stages, this intro can be a little bit tricky. So a lot of, and myself included, a lot of teachers walk you through, here's the down and up strokes for this pattern. So they might tell you down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, okay? I am gonna move away from that. I've found it to be much more effective to teach you how to subdivide that strumming pattern, subdivide the rhythm, and internalize it, and then we just kind of hum the rhythm out loud, okay? Your ears are a lot better than you think they are, and you're gonna hear that very clearly. When we start focusing too much on downs and ups, we're way overthinking it. And a lot of times when you're too focused on, is it a downstroke there? Is it an upstroke there? That's when you start getting those hesitations and your hand gets kind of sticky. You do a downstroke and it sticks there. We need that nice, constant movement, okay? So the tempo of this song is about this fast. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So the way I'm gonna be moving my arm is with eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That's how I'm subdividing this rhythm or this tempo, and this is my timekeeper, okay? Picture this. I don't know if you've ever seen an old school metronome. They kind of tick back and forth like that. I used to have one from a long time ago. This is my metronome, okay? But it's sideways. It's ticking up and down. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So when I'm strumming, no matter what strumming pattern I'm playing, that is what my arm is going to be doing. Whether I'm playing every single time I'm playing those strings, or I'm kind of picking and choosing. And this whole technique is something we're going to dive really far into in future online courses. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I'll always update links, in these YouTube videos. So you can always come back to this video in the future when we get that one uploaded, and you'll be able to find that course pretty easily. So you may be watching this in the future, and you could go get that course right now. Awesome. All right, so we are gonna hum that kind of strumming pattern out loud. It's very easy to hear because only the acoustic is really happening at this moment. So ba 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 da 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 ba 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 da ba 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 da da ba ba da da. And you're gonna feel kind of silly doing that probably, but there's something magical about using your voice to hum that strumming pattern. Do 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 do. Do, 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 do. And you could maybe tap your hand along on a table. You don't even need a guitar to really figure out this pattern. You just tap a pen, tap your hand, tap your leg, whatever. And you're gonna when you start using your voice, you're gonna start actually internalizing what that rhythm is supposed to sound like. And you no longer are really gonna need to focus on the downs and the ups. If you want to, if that's what you're more comfortable with, this is gonna be down, down, up, down, up, 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 down, okay? But notice, if we're getting a little more in depth with rhythm theory or technique here, that right hand, it was my timekeeper. It was not changing. It wasn't going, it wasn't sticking. It was constantly moving, okay? So, we're at 7 minutes already. We've talked for a while about this. This is the absolute most important part of this or any strumming based song, okay? It's a very, very important concept. It's what enables you to play a song smoothly from front to back. One thing I also like to say is, you can play Take It Easy and not have the exact same strumming pattern that the Eagles had, okay? You can learn a song, be able to play along with it, go play it on stage somewhere, and people aren't gonna say, oh, his strumming pattern was a little bit different. He's not playing Take It Easy. That's just silly, okay? You could go hear 1,000 different covers of this song, and you're gonna hear people vary it, but it's still the song. What's important is that you're putting these chords in the right places. You've got the general feel. If you hit an upstroke where they may not have done an upstroke, we just have to move away from trying to memorize every little hit of the guitar and just play music. Just play the song, put the chords in the right places, and have that rhythm and that subdivision, okay? So here's the good news. It gets way easier. After that intro, because we have spaces in the intro. When we get to the verse, and from then on out, it is just every... So this is the pattern. Okay, so it's just every single strum. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, okay? If you want to give it a little more movement or a little more feeling, then you want to accent the 2 and the 4, okay? So first things first, get the timekeeper working, okay? Get that up and down, feeling really natural, 8th note rhythm. Now every 2 and 4 beat, throughout your whole song, you're gonna do a little bit of an accent to that's where the snare hits, okay? So if you're kind of mimicking a drum set, it's like kick and snare, kick and snare. We call that the backbeat. It's a really, really important part of music, and especially this style of music. Any kind of rock, country, pop, that snare hit is where we kind of want, that's how you give that pulse. So if we're just simply strumming, it doesn't really have that pulse or that groove, but does. And that's the only reason, that's the only thing I did different, was I have a little bit of an accent on the 2 and the 4, okay? So the verse, we have 2 measures of G, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and have G, D, C, G, D, C, G. Notice that I'm changing, you know, on beat 1 when the measures are restarting, but I'm accenting beat 2 and 4. Some people have a little trouble with that. Again, if you want the chord chart for this, tons of great resources out there. I am not gonna dive too far into like, you know, here are the exact chords of the song. I'm giving you the tools to really make it pop, okay? That's what I'm here for. So, the chorus, we have E minor, 2 measures, 1, 2, 3, C, G, A minor, C, E minor, C, G, C, G, A minor, C, G. And they hold that last G out for 2 measures, okay? Use your ears, listen to it, okay? I promise you, your ears are better than you think. When you're listening to this, you want to listen behind the vocal. You don't want to listen to the singer, the lyrics. With songs like this, it can be tricky because it's probably a song you've heard a million times and you're really used to that melody. Listen to the guitar, listen to the chords changing, and you will hear this very clearly. Those are all also extremely standard guitar chords, right? You've played those chords probably a million times at this point. We're not going to get too far into how to play each one of those chords. So if you're unsure about the chords, guess where you can learn them? Our online course. Okay, so the solo section is pretty cool. The solo section takes the verse, it takes the verse progression and mashes it up with part of the chorus progression, just part of it, okay? It's actually the first part of the chorus progression. So we have, I'll just play through the whole thing. Now we're gonna talk through, we have some pushes that happen at the end of the solo and in that last chorus. We're gonna talk through that. I'm looking at a chart that I wrote, that's why my eyes are down, okay? So let's do the solo. So 1, 2, here comes G. 1, 2, 3, G, D, C, G, D, C, G. Here comes the E minor, D, C, G, A minor, C, E minor, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. Okay, that's pretty cool, right? That's called a push. So when some people have different terms for that, by the way, you might hear it called something different, but when we define push, sometimes we have a measure, 4 beats, that is split in 2, okay? In the verse, that happens with the G, D. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we go to a C chord. So that G and the D are what we call a split measure. So the G gets 2 beats, the D gets 2 beats, everybody's happy, they both have the same amount. A push is when the second chord of your split measure, or sometimes it's when the chord, we'll get to the other one in a second, but in this case, it's when the second chord of your split measure gets moved up by a half a beat, okay? So instead of changing the chord on beat 3, 1, 2, 3, we would change the chord on beat 2 and. So 1 and 2 and, okay? It happens a lot. It's probably something you've played before and maybe didn't realize what it's called or the theory behind it. Okay, so in this case, it's an E minor, 1 and 2 and, okay, and then it goes to the D. So if we were to play those last 2 measures of the chorus, 1, 2, 3, of the solo, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and, okay? It's pretty cool. This one's a little subtle in the end of the solo. Listen close. The whole band doesn't quite hit that push, only a couple of instruments do. They do later, okay? So we're gonna get to now the end of that next chorus. After that solo, there's a verse, and the verse is a carbon copy, so we're not gonna go through the verse. The following chorus, the last chorus of the song, has a couple pushes at the end. One of them is a real famous kind of hit at the end. So chorus, by the way, listen close to the second chorus. The second chorus is a slightly different chord progression. We start on an E minor, 1, 2, 3, 4, D, 2, 3, C. It walks down from the E minor to the D to the C. And again, use your ears, okay? I promise you, they're better than you think. If you have a chord chart pulled up, I use Ultimate Guitar for chord charts sometimes when I'm learning a song. Highly recommend it. It's a great open source platform. You can get chord charts for pretty much anything. You can find chord charts all over the place though. So if you have a chord chart pulled up, odds are it's gonna show you that change, but only in the second chorus. But listen, always trust your ears more than you trust a chord chart that some crazy guitar player like me put together. Those are not official. Okay, the last chorus. So we're gonna start here. 3, 4, 1, 2, to C, to G, A minor, 3, C, 1, 2, 3, E minor, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so we have pushes again, right? Because those C chords are moved up a half a beat. This time, they're not inside of a split measure, they're just on their own measure. It's a whole 4-beat measure, but we still are pushing the chord because we're just hitting it a little bit before we normally would. So we're coming off of an E minor, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, now, here's another good example of why we want to just be focusing on that timekeeper. Did I have to do anything different with the right hand? Not really, okay? I still had the exact same pattern going this entire time. I'm just accenting that upstroke a little bit. And to do that, I'm just tensing. So when you're strumming, you're normally pretty relaxed, right? Everything's loose, the pick is grazing up and down, your wrist is, everything's real fluid. What all you do to accent that moment is just tighten everything a little bit. So you just grip the pick a little bit tighter, tighten your wrist a little bit, tighten everything, and just give it a little bit more oomph, right? So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So it's just a little bit tighter for that split second. If this is new for you, it takes practice. All of this takes practice, right? But it's a really cool effect. If you're a songwriter, something to think about. Final chorus, the Eagles decided we need to make this a little bit different. We need to put a kind of final stamp on it. They used these pushes to make a statement. Pretty cool. At the end of this chorus, we have a push that lasts a while, okay? So we're going from the A minor, C, 2 and 3 and 4, and 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, snare. Okay, there's a little hit right there in the song. But we push the G chord and we hold it out for 2 whole measures. So again, from the A minor, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and that big hit is when they say, save me. Right, pretty, excuse me, not a vocal lesson. Okay. One final thing, the outro, very, very easy. It's just C chord to G chord, C chord to G chord, C, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Doesn't get much easier than that, right? But the coolest part of this song, in my opinion, is the ending. This song is just begging to end on the G, right? But it doesn't. It ends on the E minor, okay? It's a really cool way to end a song. So if you're at all familiar with music theory, E minor is the relative minor to G. So it's acceptable to substitute that in as an ending. It's a really cool vibe here because this is a happy song. This is as major happy as it gets, but we have this minor ending. So it goes from the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Pretty awesome. I really dig it. There was not a sad part to this song at all, and then all of a sudden we just end on this minor chord. Pretty cool. I would be curious to know, I didn't look it up before I started this video, but I'd be curious to know what the next track on this album was, and wonder if it was intentional to try to set the mood for the next song. They used to do stuff like that back in the day, when they actually made albums, but I digress. So, that does it. went over 20 minutes again. My goal is to stay under 20 minutes, but that's pretty hard to do. So again, hope you enjoyed it. Hope, if this is a little bit beyond you, just keep practicing. If you're a beginner, remember, online courses, roserockmusic.com. Keep your eye out for the more intermediate level stuff. We're gonna go all the way up to music theory, improv, scales, lead parts. Eventually, we're gonna do some specialized, segments for maybe playing in churches, playing with bands. We're gonna have vocal lessons. We're gonna do all sorts of stuff. 2023 is gonna be cool for us to do all that. If you're in Tulsa and you're looking for some guitar lessons or vocal lessons or piano lessons, let's hang out. Let's do it, okay? First lesson is free. Okay, I think that's enough selling for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something, and I hope you're having some fun. Have a good one.